Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about how to stop caring what other people think of you, and acceptance, detachment, and how to stay true to yourself. This morning there was something that happened. It was one of those situations where I was like, oh, I really wish we could talk about this, but it's not going to happen, is it? I listened to Playdate by Melanie Martinez just on repeat. Within half an hour, I was over it, which for me is a massive deal. Just to be like, it doesn't matter, I just need to accept this. And I did, and I was like, wow, I got through that surprisingly quickly. So I decided I was going to unpack that for you in this video so that you too can enter your unbothered era and learn to stop caring what other people think of you. The first thing that I think is important to remember if you're trying to be unbothered, realize that other people don't care. Realize that not everyone is on the same journey you're on. So for me, I am very interested in unpacking past traumas. I'm in recovery from addiction, so there is so much work that I'm doing inside, whether that's journaling or just thinking things through, putting the pieces together, trying to work out how I got to this point and what happened, and trying to heal some of those things, trying to work out motivations, and that's something I enjoy doing. But you've got to realize that not everyone else is going to be like that. Not everyone else is going to be interested in healing or interested in understanding underlying motivations, either for themselves or in interactions with you. So you might come away from something, whether it's like an argument or you said something and it was misinterpreted, and you might then start overthinking or start unpacking that and being like, oh, that was really triggering for me because it reminded me of this core belief that I have. But for that other person, they are not going to be doing any of that work. They are just going to be walking away and being like, oh, she's rude, or we're not on the same page, and they're not going to go any deeper than that. So this helps you to be unbothered because you stop trying to control what someone else is doing, and you're just like, okay, if they're not going to care, I can't do anything about that. I'm just going to focus on me, carry on with what I am doing, even if it's hard. Just carry on your spiritual journey and your healing journey. In her book, How to Do the Work, Nicole LaPera talks about how it's never about the dishes. So she talks about, like, if your partner makes a comment about you've not done the dishes or you've left the dishes in the sink and you react really strongly to that, it's not about the dishes, it's about something deeper. And I, and maybe you too if you're watching this, I'm interested in understanding that motivation and in understanding that reaction. If I have an overreaction to something, I'm like, well, it clearly wasn't about that small thing. It wasn't about you didn't do the dishes or you didn't wash up or you didn't clean up. It wasn't about that. It's about something deeper, and I'm interested in learning that, but not everyone else is going to be interested in understanding you or even understanding themselves. So in this instance, if there is someone like that who you feel like you are doing a lot of work and this other person just doesn't really care, you need to match their energy. So if they are unbothered about why you are acting a certain way, if they are uninterested in learning your childhood wounds or your core beliefs, they are uninterested in working out why you reacted in a certain way, match their energy. They are unbothered about you, you be unbothered about explaining to them any of this stuff. Just keep going with yourself and don't worry about making them understand. Stop caring that they don't understand and let them think whatever they're going to think of you, and just try and detach from that and be unbothered. Because all you can do is try and be the best version of yourself going forward and improve as you go. Learn these triggers, learn what is making you say things impulsively or react in an overreactive way. Caveat to this as well, just an addendum to that point, is that some people will take advantage of you. So if there's like an imbalance, or you think you're doing all this work and you want to help someone else try and unpack why they're being so reactive, or the fact that they haven't dealt with something, and you're like, oh, I think that they're reacting from like a childhood wound there, or they might have a core belief that's telling them that people don't want to be there for them, but actually they do, I want to help them. That's a nice impulse that you're acting from, but people may take advantage of that, and you will then just get like sucked into their drama, and you've not actually helped anyone then, because you've not helped the person come to an understanding of why they're acting a certain way. All you've done is try and get involved. It is not your job to do the healing for someone else, to do the work for someone else. You have to do this for yourself, and they have to do that for themselves. I know this is hard, and this moves us on to the next point, which is acceptance. The role of acceptance in becoming unbothered is huge. There is going to be so much that you wish you could change. Like I just said, you might observe friends getting into the same patterns of relationships. You might observe people being reactive when food is mentioned or when a certain issue is brought up, and you can spot that pattern, but the other person is not spotting it for themselves. As hard as it is to accept that some people are going to choose the thing that's wrong for them over and over again, that's what you have to do. You have to accept it, because being unbothered at its core, for me, is about accepting things as they are. And this is really hard, but I think it's key. Some people will make harmful decisions, fine. Some people will say hurtful things, fine. Some people will not put the energy in to understanding you, your motivations, what you like doing, who you are as a person, fine. These are hard things to accept, but the sooner you accept them, the easier it will be for you to detach and for you to be able to then focus on you and to stop caring about anyone else. I, in my addiction, was so focused on myself, and it was really hurtful for the people around me. And I do think now, when I'm in situations where it's reversed, I think, is there some sort of cosmic payback that now I'm like having to realise what it's like to just have to accept people who are engaging in harmful behaviour over and over again because other people witnessed me doing this, and now I'm having to see people do it. I think that just shows that it is such a universal thing. There is always going to be something that you're going to struggle to accept in your relationships or in your situation. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you can move on from it. You need to focus less on the thing that you wish you could change or the thing that is hurting you, and instead focus on the things that are within your control. And one of those things that you can accept is that other people are going to think horrible things about you, or they are going to be mean to you. They are going to have distorted opinions of what kind of person you really are. This is hard to accept, but if you want to stop caring about what people think about you, the quickest way to do that is to accept the fact that these people are going to sometimes have wrong opinions of you. They're going to have wrong portrayals of you. They're going to insist on viewing you in a negative way, or viewing your decisions as selfish, not understanding why you're being so insular or why you're coming across as rude. They're not going to be able to understand that. You just have to accept it. And then after you've accepted all you can and you've done what you can within your control, whether it's limiting contact with a certain person, trying to detach from something emotionally so that you're not reacting from like that core belief, you're not reacting from that so often, then all you need to do after this, so I'm acting like it's a small thing, I know it's really hard, but then you can hand the rest over to the spiritual power of your choice. So for me, I accept what I can, and if I can't accept it, then I'm like, God, just help me to accept this. Like, it's over to you now. I've done what I can. Please help me. If you're not a spiritual person, this won't apply to you, but for me, it just helps me have like an extra stage of letting go, because I've accepted what I can, and then I'm just handing it over. I'm like, there are parts about the situation that I can never accept. This person has said something so hurtful, or I can't accept the fact that they are hurting themselves over and over again with this same pattern of behaviour. But you don't have to accept it. You can be like, just God, help me understand. Another point in terms of becoming unbothered is start to look at people's actions and not their words. This will help you so much because you will not get so invested in people and what they say. Often what they say does not match up with the way that they act or the way that they treat you. And if you start becoming unbothered, detaching yourself emotionally in a healthy way, I'm not talking about becoming like apathetic and flat affect, no, to stop getting so attached and stop hurting yourself over and over because you have these expectations that people will behave in a certain way. Start paying attention to the way people act and the way people show up. They can say whatever they want to say. They can say the most amazing things. They can say that they're always going to be there for you. They're your best friend. They love you so much. They can say all of these things. These things are nice to hear, but they are only nice to hear if they are backed up by action, by this person showing you that they will pick up the phone in the middle of the night when you're having a crisis. Don't overuse that, obviously, but I'm talking about sparingly, but that they will show up consistently to things that they said they were going to do, that they will remember things that are important to you, even if they're just small things that you mention in passing. This person, if they really care about you and they really love you like they say they do, they will take the time to work out what those things are for you, and then they will show up in those ways in your life. So pay attention to what people do. Stop paying attention to what they say and investing in what they say. Becoming unbothered is about realizing when you need to invest emotionally and when you can detach, and accepting the difference between the two. So if someone is consistently showing up through their action is showing you that they care, you can then be like, oh, okay, I'm going to hold back on that unbothered thing. This person is clearly showing me repeatedly that they care about me. I'm going to emotionally invest in that. But if there is a disconnect between the way they are acting and the words that they are saying, they are maybe promising all these things, but they're not actually showing up in any meaningful way, you don't need to get invested in the words because they've not backed them up with action yet. So you can be unbothered and detached, emotionally uninvested in these words until they show that they can back them up with action. Because how many times, like how many people have said like, I'm here for you, they send you a card or they send you a message and it says, we're always here for you, or I'm always there for you. I don't know about you, but then you go back to those people when you're actually struggling and those people are not there for you. It makes them feel good to write, I'm always here for you, or I'm here for you. But in reality, when you then go and you're like, hey, I'm struggling, people don't know how to deal with that. And that has been hard for me to deal with in my addiction as well. So I know what I'm talking about here when I'm saying watch what people do, don't watch what people say. It's so easy to promise something or to just say something in passing, and people may mean it at the time, but then they might completely forget about it and you will never get the follow through. Stop being invested, become unbothered. It won't hurt you so much when they don't follow through. You think, oh, they said this, they said they were going to do this and they didn't. Don't become invested in their words, watch their actions. What is the Maya Angelou saying? When people show you who they are, believe them. If someone is repeatedly promising things or saying, oh yes, I'm always here for you, but then they never pick up the phone, they're never interested in spending time with you, they're showing you who they are. They're showing you that they actually don't care about you. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. They're showing you through their actions that they don't really care that much about this friendship. And especially if someone is saying explicitly that they're a thoughtless person or that they're not a nice person, you might be like, well, who would say that? But I have known people who have said this in a joking way sometimes, but even in a serious way. That is someone explicitly telling you there who they are. They are showing you who they are there. Believe them. Another point I want to make is that I know this might seem all a bit overwhelming, so then you need to just take a step back and give yourself space. I don't want it to come across that being unbothered is about being emotionless or being so unattached from what the people around you are going through. That's not what we're going for here. The vibe we're going for when we're being unbothered is about having boundaries, self-respect, watching people's actions, not their words. It's about detaching in a healthy way so that you can invest your energy in the relationships that are really going to nurture you and the people who have shown that they really want to be there for you, as opposed to the people who will just say anything. Being unbothered and how to stop caring about what people think of you. There's a lot of emotions there, so you do need to give yourself space and feel these emotions, process them, process the grief or the confusion or the loss of connection of, oh, I wish this person got it. Process the fact that this person is never going to see you in a particular light because they're so fixed on their version of you that they have. This is all hard to deal with, but if you process all of those feelings that you have about this person having a certain opinion about you, then you are able to step into your unbothered era. And it's also about not letting these opinions or these situations which bring you down or are just so draining emotionally, it's about not letting them dictate your mood. That's what being unbothered is. It's about having sort of this core confidence in yourself. So become unbothered by not letting all of this stuff, all of this noise, all of these promises, whatever, by not letting these things dictate your mood, how you act, how you feel. Instead, keep that between you and higher power, spiritual connection, God, whatever. Focus on that. Which leads us on to the next thing, which is that you are the expert on you. So you need to become unbothered by anyone else's opinions of what you should be doing, judgments on how you spend your time. And this ties in as well with how to stop caring what people think about you. They might have a certain idea of what you should be doing or what kind of potential you have, and it's valuable to listen to if, as we said before, they have shown themselves to be a person who actually cares about showing up in your life in a meaningful way. But otherwise, it is just noise, and you are the expert on you. So being unbothered, not listening to those people's opinions, it frees up space for you to focus on you, the expert of you, who can tell you what steps you need to take, where you need to go, what passions you want to follow, what books do you want to read, what do you want to spend your time doing. Being unbothered means that you've freed up so much energy that you used to spend on people who do not care, and instead you can now focus that on yourself, on your connection with the world, on your spiritual connection if you're into that. I think there is a spiritual element to life. Well, I've certainly found it to be helpful, so if it's not something that you've explored, it could be something to look into, because it is a resource that you can then tap into at any point in time and just be like, hey God, I'm struggling, or thank you God for a beautiful day. There's definitely an aspect to be explored there. Up to you. I'm just suggesting that as something that has helped me, and I'm sharing my experience here to help you become unbothered as well, and to help you be able to focus on yourself and on bettering your life, and to stop giving your energy to people who don't care. You know what you actually really like doing and the things that you like spending your time on. You know all of this in a way that other people aren't going to get, because everyone has a different prism through which they're viewing the world. Whatever other people think of you, it's really not your business. I shared about the importance of a spiritual connection. You can think whatever you want about that. That's not my business. My business is to keep doing what's working for me. For me, it helps me, it fulfills me to have a relationship with God. It helps me be unbothered about what other people are doing. Again, all of this noise, it helps me to focus on that inner voice, that still small voice, whether you want to call that God or your intuition. Once you stop caring what other people think, once you detach from relationships or friendships or situations which are not emotionally supported to you, once you accept the way things are, once you become unbothered, you can then step into really your full potential and start working out who you really are and what you really want to do with your life, because you're focused on what you think you should do and following your inner guidance system, as opposed to thinking, what will they think if I do that? What is this person gonna say? Oh my gosh, they didn't understand that, and that's like really playing in my head now. I know this is difficult stuff. It's difficult stuff. It is also really liberating, because you realize that your only business is yourself. You match everyone else's energy and you give out a certain energy then. You match someone's energy when they are not putting effort into the relationship. You take a step back, you're like, okay, if you're not gonna put in effort, I'm gonna take a step back as well. That's like a whole other video. But I hope in this video you've got an idea of how to stop caring about what other people think, how to start becoming unbothered, how to put more acceptance into your life, how to detach emotionally from people who aren't there for you or don't want to understand you. I will leave my video, stop trying to get everyone to understand you, on the screen, because that deals with some similar themes to what we have touched on in this video. God bless, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.